On to the story now. Officials have met to address an increasing number of criminal attacks in places of worship. Just last month, a Johannesburg pastor was killed during a service in Newlands. For more on this, we're joined by the South African Council of Churches Gauteng Executive Member, Thataetsile Semeno. Good evening, Major Semeno. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Incredibly concerning that we are seeing what is really an escalating rate at which churches are coming under attack. Speak to us about the trends that have been observed. How are these attacks taking place?
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers. Yes, the church is generally concerned by the many attacks that have been happening in its premises by people, some pretending to be attending the service, especially at night, being part of the service, and then trying to observe the movement inside the church, and then calling their friends when the time is right. So that has been a concern for the church in general, and we see that is happening regularly, especially during the night. And it's like they know which church to target, and they come mostly at that time when the people are busy, although they are not suspecting because of people are coming to church, because churches remains open at all times, and we don't lock the churches, we don't close the churches when we are inside, because people come late and so forth. They come at different times, so anybody is allowed to come to church, and that's the moment that they use during that time.
What kind of difficulty does this present for the church in really trying to lessen the risk? Because that sounds like what needs to happen. A lot of the evening programs that you hold would, of course, be to allow more people to attend, because that's when people are off work. So what are the suggestions on how to deal with it?
Look, it is true. In our recent discussion, the discussion is around how we can minimize the evening services, or even strengthen security. Because remember, in night services, anybody comes. I mean, people comes with friends, neighbors come, so anybody comes to church. So we are encouraging churches to really, for the safety of the congregants, to strengthen security, beef up their security, and also with this load shedding, and so becomes a challenge that sometimes this thing happen when the lights goes off, or when the lights just come back. So if the churches can at least try to minimize the evening services, but also to avoid using a lot of cash during services, if at all possible, to try and find a way to get the money to the bank somehow, just to minimize cash, because that's where they hit hard come around that time. But the church is facing a big challenge, especially with night services and prayer night and stuff like that. But we are saying to the church, can the church at least minimize the risk by minimizing the services at night?
You talk about the fact that churches need to look into really now improving, tightening security. That requires resources. We know that there are a lot of churches that are struggling just to keep up with the payments that they have to make on a month-to-month basis. What does adding security cost to that? What does that do? And when, again, we talk about tightening security, doesn't it include the fact that churches will have to try and screen people, maybe have a register of people that are inside?
Look, that's a very difficult thing for the churches to do, to register people. Because remember, one of the things that we do as the church, we are saying the doors are open and all is welcome. And because we want people to hear the word. People come for different reasons. They come for prayer services. They come for this. So yes, that is also a possibility. But sometimes it kind of we don't know who's going to receive the Lord on that day. But yes, that's another possibility the church could consider, to have a tight security by way of register, but I'm not too sure if it will do any difference with the plight that the church is facing at the moment. Yes, costly. It's very expensive for the church to have security. I mean, at this stage, we are saying can we try and minimize the night services until the situation is settled? That's what we are urging the church to do, if possible.
Are you satisfied following last week's meeting with officials in the province in terms of how else government can also be intervening here?
It was actually a very interesting intervention from government, hearing the concerns that the church is having and see how they can come together with the church to try and address the people. What we'll be doing as the church in the next few months and weeks is to mobilize the community, because we are there to serve the community. So we are asking the community to be watchmen and women of what is happening around their communities, to join hands with them. So the intervention by government, really, it's a great one. It's a great relief, and we really appreciate the working together to making sure that these crimes do not happen in our churches.
All right. Thataetsile Semeno, we'll leave it there for tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.